Hello there my friends, my name is Riskfish and today I'm bringing you a video on ReZero. ReZero is one of the most popular and in-depth stories of the past decade, however despite this it still has many overlooked elements in its story, and today we'll be exploring one of them. Out of Daphne's three great demon beasts, only the Black Serpent remains alive, and little is known about it. There are however links between the Gluttony triplets and the three great demon beasts which I believe can be used to figure out the nature of the Black Serpent. Louis Arneb and the Great White Rabbit. Arneb is the traditional name for the Alpha Leporis star and derives from the Arabic word meaning hare. It is also part of the Lepus constellation which translates to hare, though in Latin this time. Lepus is also located immediately south of Orion and is often depicted as Orion hunting a hare. This could be a reference to why Daphne originally created the three great demon beasts as a source of food in the time of starvation. It is also important to mention that unlike the other two gluttonies, there does not seem to be a link to Greek mythology with Louis Arneb. Lay Batanchatus and the Great White Whale. The Batanchatus star is also part of the Cetus constellation, which is often depicted as a sea monster, normally a whale in English. Batanchatus also derives from the Arabic word meaning belly of the whale, and is likely a reference to the story of Jonah, who spent 3 days in the belly of a whale before it threw him upon the shores of Nineveh. The whiteness of the whale could also be inspired from the popular American novel Moby Dick. Unlike the Lepus constellation though, the Cetus constellation is associated with Greek mythology, being the name of a sea monster in two myths. In the first myth, Queen Cassiopeia claimed her daughter was more beautiful than the sea nymphs, resulting in Poseidon flooding the coast and unleashing the sea monster known as the Cetus on her city. Andromeda, her daughter, was chained to a rock as a sacrifice to appease the beast, however was saved by the timely arrival of Perseus, who, depending on the version of the story, either stabbed the beast in the back or turned it to the stone with the head of Medusa. The second myth is similar, with Poseidon once again unleashing the Cetus, but this time against King Laomedon for cheating Poseidon of his payment for the walls of Troy. The king then offered his daughter Halcyone as a sacrifice, however Hercules appeared and saved her by letting the Cetus swallow him and killing it from the inside. Fun little fact, Disney's Hercules also has a version of the Cetus, where it is represented as a serpent guarding the river Styx. As you can see by these two examples, each gluttony is linked to one of the three great demon beasts, and the last gluttony, Roy Alpard, unsurprisingly is connected to something that resembles a serpent, the remaining demon beast. Roy Alpard and the Great Black Serpent. Alpard originates from the Arabic word meaning the lonely one, which is also referenced as the backbone of the serpent. The constellation itself, however, is known as the Hydra, which also has its inspiration in Greek and Roman mythology. The beast lair was said to be the Lake of Nerna in Argolid, which was believed to be the entrance to the underworld. The monster was ultimately killed by Hercules as the second of his 12 labours. What is interesting about this is that while we don't know much about the Black Serpent in ReZero, what descriptions we do have match the descriptions of a Hydra. Firstly, the Lermian Hydra is known for having extremely poisonous breath and blood, which align well with the descriptions of the Black Serpent. Those who have had contact with the serpent in ReZero have reportedly suffered a number of terrifying ailments, from reddish-black burns, black spots that gush black blood, and having their body dried up to the point that they might break apart. One interesting thing about Hydras is that there are multiple depictions of them in which they breathe fire, which could explain the burns. The black spots could be a reference either to the plague of Athens in 430 BC, or even the Black Death, which had similar symptoms. The last symptom might actually be a reference to another Greek serpent legend, Medusa, in which her gaze could turn people to stone. One other feature of the Black Serpent is that its blood curses the ground to the point that only demon beasts can live on it, which might actually just be a way to demonstrate how insanely toxic its blood is. Secondly, the Hydra is infamous for regeneration, growing 2 heads for everyone lost. Even in real life, Hydra refers to a microorganism which not only displays high levels of regeneration, but arguably does not even die of old age. These traits can also be seen with the Black Serpent, which is still alive after 400 years. The beast also left a poisonous liquid called Blackwater behind after its attack on Elior Forest. What is interesting about this is that the substance showed activity even after being frozen. My personal theory about this then is that this is the Black Serpent's blood, as Hydra's blood is also extremely poisonous, and its activity could have been its attempt to regenerate itself. Since the Lernian Hydra also guarded the entrance to the underworld, the black water could also be a reference to the river Styx, which while foul was supposed to make anyone who touched it invulnerable, which with the Black Serpent could just be used to reference how powerful its regenerative capabilities are. Thirdly, since Alpod comes from the Arabic word meaning the lonely one, it might be a reference to how the Black Serpent is independent. You see, Roswell demonstrates that you can control the rabbit somewhat with magic, and the Archbishop of Gluttony has some control over the White Whale. However, the Black Serpent goes where it pleases and has no master. Only Pandora, with the authority of vainglory, has even a limited control over the beast. The Lermian Hydra is also known to be independent, with its only ally arguably a giant crab that was sent by Hera to assist it in its fight against Hercules. Fourthly, the Black Serpent is very elusive with only two real descriptions. That is rumoured to be a serpent, and the while it is around, a slithering sound can be heard. It is important to mention here that while hydras are often depicted with legs, earlier variants show 2 legs or even none at all, simply making it a many-headed snake. Since hydras are also classed as water monsters, this might explain a lack of legs and also why so few people have seen it, as it spends most of its time submerged underwater. Finally, in Greek mythology, the original creators of the Hydra are said to be Typhon and Echidna, which are also 2 of the 7 witches in ReZero. This doesn't say much about the serpent, but simply shows another way the Hydra legend could be connected to the ReZero show. Potential hints in ReZero. Due to the secretive nature of the serpent, most of what I'm about to tell you here is just speculation, but I still think it's worth discussing. One of the newest members to the Amelia camp in Arc 6 is Melipetru, who successfully controls a Gaboa, a high-level demon beast associated with fire. In the legend, the Hydra is defeated by Hercules with the help of his nephew Iolus, who uses flame to seal the Hydra's wounds and stop it regenerating. The inclusion of the Gaboa now could actually be a hint that something similar will happen in ReZero. There are also some other curiosities, like the traits of the Black Serpent being eerily similar to the Archbishop of Lust's abilities, with Capella being able to unleash black flames in her dragon form and severely poison people like Crush with her blood. All symptoms that are shared with the victims of the Black Serpent. It is unclear what the connection is, but it is something worth mentioning. This sadly brings us to the end of the video. If you've stayed to the end, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. I have included a few additional bits of information in the comments, so be sure to check it out.